All right, everybody, welcome back to Versus Live here. I'm Corey, that's Ross. We are playing Battle Against the Hogaak today. We are playing Hogaak against Urza, trying to see how this matchup is. Urza Infinite Sword. I've heard this matchup is very bad for Hogaak. It just able to, there's not much disruption in the Hogaak's deck, and you just can combo off very easily game one.
Yeah,
and then
there's a lot of elements of this deck that Hogaak has a tough time dealing with. Bridge can be a problem and stop you from attacking and lock you out of the game. I can combo you on turn 3 with Urza and Thopter Sword, and so sometimes I can race you, and I get to play main deck Graveyard Hate that I can tutor for with Goblin Engineer. So there's a Nile Spellbomb and a Grafdigger's Cage in the main deck. I can tutor with Engineer or with Whir of Invention. So the combination of main deck Graveyard Hate, and Snaring Bridge and a combo of my own, all of which you have trouble dealing with at least in game one, makes the matchup quite favorable, and that means you have to do a lot of sideboarding to help fix those deficiencies and answer the things that I have. And anytime that you make the linear decks sideboard a lot of cards, that helps a lot because you have to cut into your engine all the more. You become less consistent. I have more time to set up. I'm playing regular Fair Magic. Generally, I'm going to be better at playing a Fair Magic game where we're both disrupting each other. And so I should be good enough in the post-board games, at least, to make the matchup positive overall.
Yep, it's definitely bad. And I think the biggest card for game one is just Bridge. I'm just cold to it. I'm just absolutely cold to it. If you were for 3 and you can control your hand in any regard, and I don't get a hit in with Hogaak, I'm just cold.
Yeah.
Some of the other lists were playing a couple Altar of Dementias just so that they were not cold to it. I think the card is just bad, except against Bridge. So these are the matches where maybe Channel Fireball's list would be definitely better, at least for game one. But like I said, our list as far as Ultimate Genesis was focused on the Hogaak mirror, and Leyline is definitely better against that. So
Leyline is still quite good in this matchup too. You shut down the Thopter Sword engine, and you shut down Goblin Engineer, which is one of my ways to tutor for Graveyard Hate pieces, set up that combo. So you really force me to have the bridge. And it's hard to bridge that early in this deck. This is not as low to the ground as the War Prison decks that are playing a lot of Welding Jars and Zero Mana artifacts that can really, bridge on turn 2. I'm not bridging until turn 3, turn 4, which means you probably do get that hit in with Hogaak. And once you do, if I don't have an empty hand, you can get in a hit with a Carrion Feeder and then sack your board and sort of fireball me out that way. So the fact that you're putting me on bridge pretty quickly is a big deal, though I do, again, have that Graveyard Hate. So that'll also play well to my advantage. So I think it'll be interesting to see just how impactful the ley lines are.
I agree. And I did play this Urza Infinite Thopter deck on my Dropping Bombs. That's going to be airing tomorrow. If anybody wants to see a little bit more gameplay and a little bit more of an analysis of why each card choice is in there, make sure to check that out tomorrow at StarCityGames.com. And don't forget, we're sponsored by Carnox Chairs. I know I missed that at the beginning.
Oh, we got it in now, so we're all good. Carnox won't be sending us an angry letter. We'll be fine. We'll continue to sit in comfort and style.
Yeah. We're just going to be, next week, we're just in wooden chairs. Creaky wooden chairs. Well, Corey screwed up.
Just have Carnox with a C written on them.
Yeah. No, but you'll still have the good chair.
Just your side.
I'll just be in a rusted out, nail-filled chair over here.
Yes. It'll be one of the ones that has the slanted front to make your back straight, align your spine.
Yeah.
It's ergonomic, Corey.
It's missing a leg.
My leg is numb.
All right, so I'm on the play since I'm the loser so far.
Yes, match 1 went to Hardened Skills.
God, I have to win 2 in a row to be able to get your marbles?
Yeah.
It's just not fair.
Getting the marbles is a little bit harder than winning a Star City Games Open or doing well at a Mythic Championship.
Apparently.
This is the real test, okay?
Apparently. I have done well at an SCG Open. I have done well at MC, but I have not gotten the marbles at all. They have not been in my possession.
Empty line on the resume. We're going to keep it that way.
Yeah.
Let's check out these opening hands.
So, as far as mine, I have a decent form of hate here, but if this was a Blood Crypt, I would keep it with Faithless Looting because then this hand is insane. But I don't have red, and I only have 1 land, so it's impossible. Not possible, I'm afraid.
My hand looks pretty solid. We have what I think is one of the best cards in the entire deck here. It's the low-key best card in the deck, Arkham's Astrolabe.
Oh, yeah.
Card that fixes your mana base, just does everything.
Oh,
Gets you a date for prom. So
Does it all.
Yeah,
It does it all.
I'm keeping this one.
All
Got
right.
a question there while Corey's looking at his next hand?
Yeah, first off, shout out to Tiki Jiki Mirror Memer. He is the player in our chat that is excited about this Grixis Urza list.
Oh.
Fifth at MC Barcelona, I believe.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yep.
That sounds about
winning at the number 1 seed. So it's just dominating the tournament, but then played a tough match against Jund in the top 8 and just couldn't get it done.
Yeah, John can be tough for these decks.
So this hand is just not functioning as well. I mean, I have Hogaak, Lightning Axe, which is disruptive, and then a ley line. Like, sure, I can stop Ross from comboing off, but like I said, the card I'm afraid of is that one of Bridge more than that, and that hand was not going to be fast enough. So we're down to 5.
All right. So from Manadork, with the meta shift after Barcelona, where do you think Death's Shadow is sitting? I think we talked about this quite a bit on Thursday, but just to reiterate.
Okay, and end of the bench, where Death Shadow has been sitting for quite some time.
Yep.
Not only comes in garbage time.
Yeah.
Puts a good effort. It's the veteran trying to stay on the team. You know, they don't want to get cut. They want to keep collecting those checks for maybe another season or two. That's where Death Shadow is.
I'm with you on that. Death Shadow does not have a place against Hogaak right now. Like, all right, let's deal myself 7 to 8 points of damage and then let Hogaak untap on turn 2. That's not what we can be doing. So nope,
Sorry,
unfortunately.
Manadork, I feel bad about that as well.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Everyone likes their Death Shadow because they're like, yeah, it's a 1-mana 6/6. It's so big. Hogaak's a 0-mana 8/8.
Yeah. So I'm definitely going to keep, and this hand is actually okay, but I got to put 2 cards down, which is a bit rough. I think I go like this here, because this is still a pretty solid 5. It needs a little bit of help. Actually, maybe I keep this and get rid of these 2. Yeah, let's try this. Okay, so I'm on the play. I'm going to go sacrifice. I'm going to take 3.
17.
Overgrown.
Stitcher's Supplier.
We're stitching. We need some supplies.
One stitchy boy.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
That looks like bricks. Oh, we got a grave crawler.
Not the worst. Your turn.
Not the brickiest of bricks.
Slightly brickish, but I've bricked harder.
Okay, so we have normally I would start here so I could turn to this, but I'd rather be disruptive in this matchup, so let's start on my Nile Spell Bomb.
Not bad.
And then I will Mishra's Bauble.
Okay.
And so the awkward part with Nile Spell Bomb against this deck is that you don't really get a window to stop Hogaak.
Except now.
Yeah, I would basically have to use it now. And so I think I'm going to Bauble Corey immediately, and if I see Hogaak on top, then I'll exile. I'm a genius. I'm so smart.
SMRT.
Really smart.
Did you see it?
Yeah. Let's blow up your graveyard. And pass the turn, draw on your upkeep.
That's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. Lotlet Troll, I'll attack.
19.
Your turn.
Play perfectly.
Get rewarded.
How
you want
would
to take
you
a look at
consider-
my hand. Ross is actually very foolish, but
I mean,
no, nothing.
you're good. You got 2 cards in the end.
Exactly.
I don't know what they're going to be. Okay, so I think now we have to get to this quickly. So let's just get our Wellspring down and draw a card.
Okay.
And then pass the turn.
All right. It's an interesting draw on my part. I'm going to start by discarding.
Yep.
And getting... do we want to get in there? Yeah, okay. We'll get in there. Of course I was going to get in there, but I was thinking maybe if I could do a cute play with this, but I think it would be pretty bad. So we'll ship it to you.
So I'm at 15. Why don't I... Guess we'll try to set this one up first. So we'll play a Tarn and crack it, go to 14.
Okay.
We're going to continue to get islands just to make our whir better, because we're about to cast Astrolabe, and that'll get our other 2 colors.
Yeah, it's nice how much you can just search for snow-covered lands in this deck. Like, you don't... All the dual lands are in there just in case you can't find Astrolabe, but you just never need them unless those are pressured or you don't have one.
Yeah, makes your mana base a little bit less painful.
Yep.
Makes it much easier to whir. So let's play Astrolabe, draw a card. And then make black or white, doesn't really matter, and play Thopter Foundry.
Okay.
And then pass the turn.
All right, one tap. We don't have much going on over here. We need some help. It's not the help we needed, but we're going to just try to pressure a little bit here and discard the other Hogaak that was in our hand before you spellbombed us.
I go to 9.
Yep. And pass it to you.
This lot withdrawal is going to be a problem because it tramples.
Yep.
So my Thopters don't do a whole lot against it. But... I'm at 9, so this is 5 next turn. You have
Correct.
2 in hand.
Yep.
So even if you have 3 creatures in your hand, I guess
That'd be tough with 2 cards.
Well, after you draw.
Yeah, sure.
So, and I know you would have cast like Gravecrawlers or Bloodghast if they were in your hand.
That's correct.
I guess you could have like Vengevine and a creature, and you're hoping to draw another one to try to get the Vengevine next turn. And if that's the case, we would be in trouble.
Yeah, and that turn 1 spellbomb just got me pretty good. I was going to be able to Hogaak you if you didn't make that play, so that was a very heads-up play.
The issue is like all my cards I've drawn a bunch of cantrips, so I'm having trouble emptying my hand for this whir for bridge.
Yeah,
I could just whir right now, but I have 4 cards in my hand, which is enough to let this attack and let Vengevine attack. Though if you do have Vengevine, you wouldn't be able to discard a control and then attack with that.
True.
So I wouldn't have to worry. You would have. This is 5. The most you could do is 8. So that definitely gives me another turn. And then maybe lets me stop this from attack. Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think I just want to get the bridge down. This also lets me get this down tapped and not shock.
Not a bad idea.
So let's just do that and pass the turn.
Okay. Now, is there anything I should try to do? I don't think I really have a choice. Whir is going to be pretty rough regardless, so we'll just untap. All right. Yep, declare tax.
Yeah, there's nothing I can do about it. I go to 4.
Okay. And then we'll go with a marsh or a blooming marsh, and I'll pass it to you.
And step over for 3.
Yep.
Get our ensnaring bridge.
The card I was just so hyped to see, chat. That I was just super hyped to play against game 1. We are stone cold dead to it. There were some lists at the MC. The people who really next leveled, and it was the Danish team of Christopher Larson, Martin Mueller, Michael Bundy. I forget what team they're actually on, but they truly broke it. They not only main deck Leyline, which was super smart at that tournament, but they also main deck answers to Leyline. They also had Assassin's Trophy in the main. So they were level 3 when we were level 2. So yeah. If I had that list, trophying this would give me a nice out, but not the case.
Nope. You're just not on that level.
Nope.
That's the level you need to be on if you want some marbles.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Man, I just wanted to draw more lands because we have Goblin Engineer to get our sword.
Okay.
So this will tutor for whatchamacallit, Sword of the Meek.
Sure.
And I am going to play a 1-drop from my hand just to get down to 3 cards.
Okay.
Stop that Lot Troll, and then pass the turn.
All right. Well,
now I think we got everything rolled up.
Yeah, it should be pretty trivial from here. Yeah, and I'm just locked out. Assuming that Ross can at least keep his hand below 4, which it's almost impossible not to. I just don't know what I can possibly do here. Yeah, I'll attack.
Block.
Okay. Trigger.
Yep.
All right, got a grave crawler. Now, gonna have the engine going.
And Nick Miller's about to get a lot of camera time.
Yeah,
A lot of Thopters today.
Nope, I can't win. I'm locked out.
Yeah.
Axe does me nothing. You get to start making Thopters off sword.
Yeah.
I'm
just going to empty my hand or try to next turn. And
you can sacrifice this to sword to make the sword come back, and then you can start getting rid of Ichor Wellspring to bring this back. Draw a card when it leaves. Draw a card when it comes into play. Like, Engineer does some insane things.
Yeah. I'll probably just win that game with a pile of Thopters.
Yep, more than likely.
If I were to draw an Urza, then it would go off.
And that's what I was saving Lightning Axe for, but my draw was just not explosive enough. And you made a great play with the Spell Bomb. If you didn't Spell Bomb, my one card in hand was Hogaak, so I would have discarded a Hogaak, dredged 5. Now, you would have had a response later with the Spell Bomb because Lotleth Troll's +1/+1 counter does stack.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind for you out there that Carrion Feeder and Lotleth Troll, when you discard something and it's very clear that, let's say they discard a Hogaak and they're very clearly about to Hogaak, with that +1/+1 counter on the stack, you can Surgical, you can Ravenous Trap, you can Spell Bomb.
Relic, any of those.
Exactly. So you got to look for times when you can. But there's, like Satyr Wayfinder, things go to the yard. You don't have a response with those kind of cards.
Yeah, once they go to the yard, they'll get maintain priority because they're active player.
So there's times people just have to Spell Bomb when there's like 2 cards in the graveyard in response to a Satyr Wayfinder. You have like 2 lands in the graveyard and you're like, yep, I got no choice. Spell Bomb with no value. Let's go.
Yeah. Okay. We are going to take a short break to get sideboarding geared up here for Grixis Urza against Hogaak, and we will be back in just a minute, so don't go anywhere. And welcome back here to sideboarding with Urza against Hogaak. Once again, my side a little bit simpler than Corey's, so I will start. We've got cages, just like we did in match 1, and I'm also bringing in some Assassin's Trophies. This is not only going to help against potential ley lines from the Hogaak deck, which can shut down the Thopter Sword combo and Goblin Engineer, but I also think just stopping an early Hogaak and buying myself a lot of time to set up Bridge, to set up the combo is important. So I like some trophies here. The trophy is certainly an upgrade on the removal we have in the main, and Galblast and Fatal Push. Pithing Needle, not really a lot of options here. There's a lot of throw and Carrion Feeder, but not something that we're going to want access to consistently, so that can get cut. And then Ichor Wellspring is a little bit slow and clunky. You saw I actually had some worry about whether I was going to be able to empty my hand in time in that game 1, and drawing Ichor Wellspring was a big part of it. This 2-mana card that replaced itself. And I don't think I'm going to be, engineering for Ichor Wellspring that often in this matchup, so I'm cutting those as well. I think if you see a bunch of ley lines from your opponent, you should also probably trim some number of Goblin Engineers. You see Corey's actually cutting his, and then Plague Engineer and maybe Nature's Claim if you really want to deal with ley line or potential options, as well as Thoughtseize, but I'm not a huge fan of any of them, so I'll generally go into game 2 forcing them to show me that they have it and that they're going to keep it in, because they're also going to have to bring in a bunch of other removals, so having that and ley line in is pretty tough. And we have answers to it anyway, so.
Sure. Okay, so from my side, it becomes quite interesting and kind of a mind game of how I want to sideboard against this, because I'm sideboarding against a prison deck and against an infinite combo deck. So it becomes pretty weird because Leyline is good against breaking up this infinite combo, but I am bringing in so many cards in the form of Force of Vigor, Assassin's Trophy, that kind of just point and kill anything, that I can disrupt the combo pretty easily, as well as with just a couple hand disruptions, and Plague Engineer can just be named on Thopter, and then you can no longer combo. So I really wanted to, and Plague Engineer is a body that I could play and delve to cast Hogaak, so I wanted it to be a piece of disruption with legs, essentially, that I can still use to bring out Hogaak. And then as far as other stuff, a little bit of randomness, kind of like the same matchup here in the form of Bloodghast, Faithless Looting, and Carrion Feeder. And we're playing under the assumption that we don't know if each other play has Leyline, because tournaments from here on out are not open deck lists, so this is the way you should be preparing. And with that, I wanted to bring in a lot of answers to Leyline if they were going to have them. And cards like this get a little worse if they have Leyline, as well as Lotleth Troll. we saw how not great it was. You're not trying to kill Lotlith Troll, you're trying to prison it out. So I really don't like Lotlith Troll in this matchup. And then Lightning Axe is good against Engineer, it's good against Urza, but once again, I'm bringing in so many unconditional removal spells that don't card disadvantage me. So I think it's just a strict upgrade to have Assassin's Trophies.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, all right, let's do it. I think these should get a lot better because game one, how I'm just absolutely prisoned out to a resolved bridge. Now that's not even a big deal. Like, I leave in Crypt Breakers, so even if you get me bridge locked with air quotes, I'm going to be drawing a lot of cards to eventually find one of my 6 ways to interact with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you're going to not only be drawing cards to find it, but you'll also be generating extra zombies. So once you do find it, you have this huge battlefield of creatures and can attack immediately and end the game.
Exactly. So, I mean, actually, sometimes bridge becomes a bit of a liability because it's false hope, you know, or not false hope, but it gives you like a false sense of security because you're like, yeah, this is great. They can't attack. And then all of a sudden, boom, dead, you're dead. Got any questions while we're shuffling up?
I'm always torn when I'm given food questions because I know what the end result is going to be almost all the time when Ross is on camera, but I just can't help myself from Hogaak. Pizza with or without ranch?
Ooh. Well, I'm from the Midwest, so it's a slam dunk. I dip my pizza into ranch, deal with it.
And there's the face that I know is going to happen.
All right, how about this? How about popcorn with ranch?
Nothing with ranch. 0 things.
Excuse me, what do you live in Barcelona? I couldn't find ranch to save my life over there.
Perfect. I'm moving there tomorrow. Goodbye.
I did tell him that the only white substance that I would only like on my pizza is if it's a white pizza. Because white pizzas are great.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then you dip ranch into them.
No.
Oh.
Here's what you do with ranch. You throw it in the trash where it belongs.
You just hurt my. Okay, you know we were hanging out this weekend.
Yeah.
Not any longer. You don't speak trash to a Midwesterner about ranch dressing and expect to just get away with it.
Oh, that's what I'm doing.
All right, so you are, or I'm on the play. This hand is so close. You know, I mean, my mana base is not agreeing with me. Otherwise, this hand would be perfect. I can't keep a double swamp mana base here.
This is not a matchup where you want the swamps. Your life total is not really that relevant.
No.
Just want to hit your colors.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a landlight hand here, but we've got a cantrip, and we have like, all the pieces we're looking for. So definitely going to be a keep. We'll just have to hope to draw some mana sources.
Yep, and you know I've done a lot of mulliganing today, but that's what you sign up for when you play this deck. You know, there's a lot of non-functioning hands because you play just a very obscure deck, but the power level is worth it in my opinion. All right, so we are down.
Mulligan just makes mulliganing so easy.
Yep. So we are down to 6, and this hand is excellent. So we're gonna keep. Now what to discard? Wow.
Pizza.
God, our hand is just so good. Why do I have to get rid of a card? I guess we'll go like this. All right. All right, and I'll start it up. So I will go to 17.
Sure.
I'll be stitching together some supplies. Almost always the turn 1 play. Faithless Looting is always a contender, but you really want to favor Stitcher Supplier if you don't have things in your hand to discard, like a Bloodghast or a Vengevine. It gets much better then. Okay. So Supplier, trigger, and we got the Gack. Your turn. Guess who's back? Hogaak's back.
Ooh, well, that was a land, so now I think we'll just get this cage down.
Seems solid.
Prevent a turn 2 Hogaak here.
You think so? I mean, yeah, probably.
You're going to Force a Vigor me? We go to 14?
Yeah, I'll go to 14. All right, so that does prevent this Hogaak from coming back from the graveyard. That is a fact.
Got one in the hand.
I will play a Stitcher's or a Satyr Wayfinder. All right, so that does stop this Vengevine from coming back, though. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Vengevine trigger does not work, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Vengevine's not coming back, but you got a Hogaak.
But we got a Hogaak, so your turn. And our hand is still like fine. I mean, this card is great at helping us find some stuff, but turn 2 Hogaak through the cage. cage. It just reminds me of like, you know, The Rock entering a cage match against Hogaak, and you know, I couldn't finish that analogy. All right, so only 8 power. We would have had a total of 14 power on turn 2, but the cage did do something, you know, and you know, stopping the Vengevine would just probably lock this game up because you couldn't bridge in time, nor can you really do anything else in time, I would imagine here. Just going to be a little too slow against this draw, but we'll see.
Yep. You got 3 cards left in your hand.
Yep.
It's crack a fetch, go to 19. We've drawn lands here, but we still just might be a little slow. I am going to...
You know why you're not drawing right?
Why?
It's because you spoke bad about Ranch.
I'm drawing perfectly. My hand needed lands. I've drawn 2 lands in a row. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, it wasn't enough because you spoke bad about Ranch.
Yeah.
What about wings? Oh, I know you're a blue cheese guy, huh?
Yeah.
Jeez. All right, that's good too, though. I mean, wings are just live, so.
So what condiments do you allow on certain things, Ross?
God, probably horseradish.
I like
horseradish.
But I'm talking like
mayonnaise with pizza. I'm guessing just all the worst.
Not a mayonnaise fan. So the pizza place downtown in Roanoke, they'll serve hot honey, and sometimes I'll put a little bit of that on the crust, just a little.
Yeah. What's it like to be a hipster?
My chin is very warm.
That's true. You have taken to me some of the coolest places, so I can't fault you.
Let's get a Thopter Foundry down and pass the turn.
All right, so I'm not really afraid of Urza comboing, but it actually is possible next turn. If Ross goes Mox, Opal, land, Urza, that's infinite. So
if I have the sword. I need the sword too.
Yeah, you need the sword as well, but it is possible. Okay, so our hand is nothing to do but this right now, so we're going to start with a loot. And I'm looking for disruption here. I hope I found it. All right, we're going to discard these, play this, and get in there for 10.
I go to 9.
And it's your turn. Our draws were kind. I have a feeling we're gonna be able to make this one out if we want to take a look at my hand. My hand went from land to this, so I think that's pretty solid.
Well, I did not draw the thing that potentially let me combo, and I can't bridge, so the only thing I can do... So I had everything but the opal for this turn.
Did you?
Nice. And if you had no creatures, I was able to sword, go to 8, then go back up to 9, have a 2/3 that blocks here, and take 7 and go to 2, and then hope to draw another land.
I think in response to that, I'll respond.
But yeah, that'll get me.
So, Corey, I think the wrestling reference that you're trying to go for here is, can you smell what the gack
is cooking? Thank you. I had all the groundwork there, but I just didn't have the payoff, you know? Sometimes that happens with Hogaak, you know?
Yes.
We got any other wrestling Hogaak ring-related questions? Or ranch enthusiasts out there that would like to...
Vengevine, right out of nowhere, Hogaak in the back with the steel chair.
Hogaak in the back, that's good. Oh, yeah.
I had turn 1 cage, turn 2 foundry, turn 3 sword, and did not get a 4th turn.
Yep. No, I mean, my hand was great. The card I had to put on the bottom was a Gravecrawler, too, and my hand was Faithless Looting, Hogaak, Stitcher, Supplier, Sata Wayfinder, 2 land. Doesn't get much better, you know?
No, it does not. But I will be on the play for our 3rd game.
All right. Let's see what we got.
I have a Grafdigger's Cage and a Nile Spellbomb and a Grafdigger's Cage, but no lands, so...
My hand is very close, and I think I'm going to keep this. If we take a look at my hand, I have Disruption. I have some ways to get stuff going. But we are lacking a key piece in our hand. Is it worth it?
Is that piece Hogaak?
Okay, we're missing 2 key pieces in our hand then. I think it's a little weak. I want to put this on the top down here because I think these types of hands are traps. Like, sure, if I get 1 land, I'm not doing that much, you know? Like,
what you need with this hand is a Faithless Loot.
Yeah, exactly. If this was a Faithless Looting, this is a snap keep, but otherwise this is just kind of a too slow of a hand.
Yeah.
The deck can do better with the London Mulligan rule.
And a lot of the time when you're playing a graveyard deck, if your hand is short that Faithless Looting, you have the option of milling it over, but there you're only on 1 land.
Exactly.
So you're really far away from even that.
Exactly. Yep. So I think the best thing I could have hoped for is like, Hogaak and then draw a second land and start casting Bloodghast and maybe get a Hogaak on turn 3 with disruption and stuff, which is fine, but it's not.
But that's the ceiling for that hand.
Exactly. Out of 7, I think if that was my 6, I would have probably kept. But with that being on my 7, there's a lot more range of good hands I can find here. All right. This hand's better. I'm definitely going to keep. It's not a slam dunk or anything, but...
My hand is not very good.
Yay! I mean, that shucks, man. That shucks.
I don't think I can keep this even on 6. It's just so slow. Like I'm casting a bunch of Chromatic Stars, and then I've got the 1 land with these Urzas. I would definitely be putting an Urza back.
So if we take a peek at my hand as far as what to ship back, these are the cards I'm for sure keeping, is these 4. And now it's deciding upon this. I think I need this just in case. So it's one of these 2, and they both help each other. But it's just which one is better in the current situation. And I think this card has a higher ceiling, so we're going to be putting this card on the bottom.
I'm going to send mine back.
Okay.
Got any questions over there, Dan?
Valak Simon goes, I cage for 1. It doesn't matter if you cage on 1.
Oh, that's good.
So our good friend Tiki Cheeky Mirror Memer definitely wants to know something. I don't think this was brought up at any point during your video on dropping bombs and.
Yep, and it hasn't aired yet, but yeah.
It hasn't aired yet. Insider information. Just because he wants to know, because it's half of his F&M meta. How is the Grixis Urza matchup versus Tron and Burn?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to spoil some matches, but I did play against Tron.
Oh, you did?
I did.
I forgot.
I did, yeah. And so I think it's rough. Like the winning Tron list, just the mono green style that can, play these cards and stuff like that is a bad matchup. It straight up is bad. Yeah. Eldrazi Tron is insanely easy, so it's kind of weird what a shift you can possibly do, but it's not unwinnable because you can still combo out of nowhere as well as like Pithing Needle maps, but it's tough. As far as Burn, I would think Burn's a good matchup. You're able to just combo off, you're able to kill faster. Now on the draw, and if they have a bunch of Smash to Smidger, that was easy for me to say. If they have a bunch of Smash to Smidger
Smath the Smathereens.
Smath the Smathereens. If they have that magic card, things can get tougher. We'll leave it at that.
Okay. I've got a 5 I can keep.
Okay.
And we will start on fetch for a Snow Island and an Astrolabe.
All right.
I'm at 19.
19 to 20.
And we'll draw a card.
Okay.
Send it over to you.
All right. So I really only have one great play here. I want to get this sack land in the yard. And we don't really care about our life totals, so taking 3 at any point here is not really a big deal. So we are going to get let's get a Blood Crypt. Nah, because we're going to, even if we draw Faithless Looting, we're not going to cast it next turn. That's the only thing I was considering, is if I draw exactly Faithless Looting, am I punished? Now I'm going to pick Overgrown Tomb. I'd rather have a second green source in case I top deck Force of Vigor and be able to cast it, along with Vengevine. So I'll play Crypt Breaker and we'll pass it to you.
Not a bad one here.
Not bad.
Also not a bad one. Okay, let's fetch for another island. Again, we want islands for Whir. Astrolabe will fix our mana elsewhere, and we'll make a red and play Goblin Engineer.
Okay.
and find Sword of the Meek.
Alrighty.
You're up.
So now I'm a little worried, of course. Now I have options. If we want to take a look at my hand, so I can do this, which is obviously great. It's what you want to be doing. But how many cards do you have?
I have like 4-ish.
Okay.
3. I'm up to 5. I don't have many. 3.
Okay, but I think I do have to protect myself against possible combo pieces here, or just land Mox Opal Urza. Maybe that just doesn't matter quite yet.
That would not quite get me there since I only have the 1 artifact on the battlefield.
True, but like land whir, I can't really whir for that quite yet. All right, we're gonna go for the higher upside play here. This might bite me in the butt here, but we're gonna try it. So, Seder Wayfinder.
Yep, you're at 15.
Yep. I will not bring back a land, and we'll Hogaak. Your turn.
Yep.
Now, I had, it's tough. It's tough to argue against turn 2 Hogaak, but these kind of combo decks are matchups where you do want to consider it, but I'm just not that afraid of a turn from Ross here. If Whir for 3 and Bridge was a possibility, I think I would make a different play here, but with that not being the case, I just want to get the free 8/8 into play and then start disrupting from there. Okay.
I want to be making land drops here, so I'm going to crack the star and make a blue.
And don't forget, you could sacrifice it to the engineer to bring it back and still draw a card. I don't know if you're interested in that.
Yeah, that just costs a mana that I don't.
Yep. Yeah, would lose you a mana.
Yep. This is not going well. I could have spellbound last turn, but you had 1 card. Like, that's just not getting.
I mean,
me.
Hogaak never Hogaaks on 2, so I'm glad you didn't.
I mean, that's just not a winning play, though.
But I mean, here's the funny thing here. Like, if we back up here for a second for a learning lesson, this was my graveyard.
Yeah.
And if he spellbombed and I went Seder Wayfinder on 2, he has to spellbomb away my 1 land, because when these 4 cards go to the graveyard, he does not get a response if I have Hogaak in hand. So the correct play, quote unquote, is if you spellbomb, you would have to just hit Catacombs to prevent this from coming into play, which is a disgusting use of resources.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll play the Nile spellbound pass.
All right. Ooh, baby. Okay, we're gonna loot.
Yep.
1, 2. Okay, so for sure graveyard going to the yard. And I believe this. And now we are going to... Now, once again, I'm not really afraid of too much here. Could go land Mox Opal Whir for 3, and that's the scary line that I am afraid of, and it is possible here. So I actually am going to play a little bit more conservative. I'm not going to give Ross a response here, so I'm going to bring Gravecrawler back now before he has a chance to spellbomb me, and then I'm going to move to combat. Unfortunately, can only get in there for 8.
I will take 8, go to 10.
Okay, and now I'm going to go Cliffs and Thoughtseize. This is what I've had, for a while, but I really wanted to make sure nothing too bad happened. So, another Engineer. I actually don't think I care about Urza. Engineer can go get a Thopter combo, and maybe that breaks up something here, but right now the way it stands is Engineer somewhat scares me, where Urza scares me more, but the land isn't there. So all right, your turn.
So you're at 13?
Yep.
Still just haven't drawn lands. How do I survive this turn? So you, even if I block Gravecrawler, I am taking 10, so I need to do something here. But I also need to draw lands to do something next turn to win the game. So let's play our Chromatic Star.
Okay.
Let's sack it for a red, so no matter what land we draw, we can Pyrite Spellbomb, because that's our way of staying alive.
Or you can auto stay alive by playing the Spellbomb first and not risking it, but I think you do.
Yeah, but I need to draw land.
Yep.
Okay.
We're live.
And which one of these do I just kill?
So you don't have to do that, right? Because you add red.
Oh, yeah. I can
Yeah,
just
and there you go. Yeah.
play with the red floating, use
Mhm.
the astrolabe. But I should decide what I'm doing with it. Like,
Yep. Because, yeah, you could put, like, this in the graveyard and then spellbomb me or something,
yeah,
but
the problem is, even if I draw a land next turn, the Urza doesn't do it by itself.
nope.
I needed to have the engineer this turn to block, or yeah, I needed to go land, engineer, block with both, use the first one to get the Foundry into play.
Yep.
And then Urza the following turn.
And I will say that I don't know if it was a misplay, but there is a way where you could have had a little bit more access to do something more, is by actually searching for a steam vent, because maybe you need double red to kind of do stuff, or searching for the watery grave to be able to sack spellbomb and have the astrolabe to do something different. Now, two life is a lot in this situation, so I don't know if it's correct, but that is an option from there. Astrolabe fixes your mana, but when you can only use it once, that's a little different. All right. I'll do some supplying. All right. Grave Crawler. Now, Ross can't really afford to spellbomb me here. Karen Feeder? Maybe I just don't even need to. I think if I do this, that's enough for you to want to try to deal with it. Okay, I'll just attack with these.
I will block the grave.
Oh wait, no, I do need to attack. I want you to force you that action.
Not attacking, yeah.
Yep,
Let's use my mana to draw a card.
Yep, I don't want that
Then you
to
can
happen.
lose.
Yep, absolutely.
So let's block the Crypt Breaker and then make red and kill the Grave Crawler.
Okay, I'm gonna sack the Karen Feeder.
Yep.
And sack the Karen Feeder.
I got a 1.
Okay, 2 counters. No. Bring back Grave Crawler. Couldn't draw a card, but all right, your turn.
I don't think there's anything I can draw here, but
Bridge. Straight draw bridge.
Bridge. The
actual 1-0.
No, even that, because I have 2. I'd have an extra card in hand. And you have 2 1/1s.
Yeah, but you have a blocker, right?
I'm at 1.
Oh, you're at 1.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, I thought you were at 2. Yeah, you're dead.
And I drew Whir, which is
close.
Womp womp.
But if I didn't attack with everything, then you would have been able to actually whir for 3 there. So that could have been a huge misplay.
So even if I go red, throw this away for a star, make mana of some kind. I don't know. Black. Yeah, this is not doing anything.
Yep. There's a breeding pool in there, huh? All right.
Trophies.
We got a chance to play for the title.
For the Rebels.
Just turn to do Hogaak every game.
Yeah. I mean, my deck is called Hogaak, to quote the great Ross here when he's hardened scaling me 15 times a match. So, but I mean, that's one thing I think is very key to learn about these games we played. I don't think Cage is good enough. I don't think Cage, Surgical, or Ravenous Trap is good enough, because if you have a Hogaak in hand and you have a medium draw like Sackland, Stitcher Supplier, Blood Gas through another Stackland, and a Hogaak in hand, like, there's no disruption that those kind of cards don't disrupt it. I think you need Rest in Peace or you need Leyline to be able to fight.
It's specifically Hogaak that those don't disrupt. If you're on a Bloodghast or Vengevine draw, they do disrupt them. Sometimes the Nile Spellbombs can prevent you from even getting the creatures you need to cast the Hogaak.
Yeah,
but it certainly doesn't stop Supplier into Wayfinder into Hogaak.
Yeah. Which I'm very keen on keeping.
Yes,
if you haven't noticed.
Yeah. And you saw both games 2 and 3. I had a piece of disruption on turn 1. I didn't play the Spellbomb turn 1 because I was on the play.
Yeah,
but I had it available if I wanted it. I had Cage in game 2. They did really nothing to disrupt your draws.
Yep.
And I wasn't fast enough to race because I just stumbled a little. Really needed like a Mox Opal to help accelerate.
Yeah.
Or to just hit my lineups naturally. On the mulligan to 5, that's hard to do.
Yeah.
But you saw, the inadequacy of certain graveyard hate in this matchup. Because Hogaak is just a messed up Magic card.
Yep, but I mean, honestly, so is Mox Opal. I think like the key pillars to Modern are like Mox Opal, Faithless Looting, obviously Hogaak now. These like 1 mana cards that allow us for like free value and stuff are really what take over Modern. And it's a Mox Opal deck, plain and simple. It just happens to also have a busted combo.
Yeah. And no Mox Opal showing up and able to take it down. So we are tied. I think we got a little bit of time now. We're actually right on schedule. So
Perfect.
we are going to take another break while we get the third matchup set up, where I will be playing Mono Green Tron, the deck that won both trophies.
Championship winning deck.
So a nice test here for you and a match for the marbles.
Oh my God. Yes.
We will take, how long of a break we need, Dan? 6-minute break. So very quick, we will come back for that last match and we will be playing for the marbles. Don't miss it.